trying to tell you this is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Devil, douchebag, these freaking glasses on. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Fuck, I don't. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does.
Please don't sue me, big boy, like you sued that other guy. I know I'm no way out, but this is just a paradise. When you come for bankless and RSA my guy, that's when I respond with a hearty remix battle cry.
Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Devils, douchebag, these freaking glasses on. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Fuck, I don't. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. Trying to tell you this is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Devil, douchebag, these freaking glasses on. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Fuck, I don't. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does.
Please don't sue me, big boy, like you sued that other guy. I know I'm no way out, but this is just a paradise. When you come for bankless and RSA my guy, that's when I respond with a hearty remix battle cry.
Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. Ryan, Sean, Adam. I don't know who the F you are. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Devils, douchebag, these freaking glasses on. This is about money for me. It's me. I'm here fighting for all the money. Fuck, I don't. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does. All the money. I'm the one who does.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to play the intro video and then I will bring Small Cap up and we'll get this party started. So let's roll the thing.
GM Anon, welcome to today's episode of Market Capping. Before we begin, I just wanted to remind you that I'm not your mom, and nor are any of the speakers on this show. Nothing you hear today is financial advice. You should be a big kid now. Make your own decisions, do your own research, and assume every crypto coin you buy will result in complete losses. If you ever plan on holding anyone other than yourself responsible for your choices, please navigate to the top of your browser window where you'll find the friendly red close button. And now, let the episode begin.
Boom. All right. Welcome to today's episode of Market Capping. So, sadly, Small Cap had a little bit of a slip up and his Steam account wouldn't let him log into it. So he had to not bring his Anata up on stage. Instead, he's just going to be that square in the top right corner you see. But as a kind surprise, you have me in my new form as the new Anata Chibi. So you get a little preview of what these Chibis look like. I didn't turn on the hand tracking for this call because, well, I just downloaded it quickly in a flurry and wanted it up here. But for the next call, I'm going to figure out how to get the hand tracking set up and all that stuff. But it's completely built in with hand tracking, figure tracking, tons of emotes. So I can show you guys some of those emotes. But first up, Small Cap, can you hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Boom.
Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. Kind of blew it with my Steam account. That's what happens when you don't do an episode for so long.
Yeah, I had the same issue. All good, sir. At least we have you. But yeah, before we get started, I kind of just wanted to give everyone a little preview of this new Anata Chibi. I don't know if you can see it on the stream, Small Cap, but it's super cool.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, we've added a bunch of new stuff, so you can see like just watch the eyes dance as I open and close my eyes. Like, it's really fun. We got feedback that the last ones weren't expressive enough, so now the mouths just move a lot. The eyes dance, the heads, you can really bob them and move them around. They're almost like bobbleheads, and you can see the body. Look at those hips swing with my head. If I had hand tracking on, I could move my hands like fully 180 degrees range of motion, like point and move each finger. It's really cool. And well, one of my favorite things is there's some cool new emotes, so I can like dance. Like, ooh, look at me boogie. I love this. And you can set off like, really expressive emotes like this. This is like the aura, or here's the like surprise, or like highlight, in love. Lots of really cool, really expressive emotes. So Chibis are, I would say, like a really, really good VTuber, really cool NFT, free airdrop to every single Anata holder that bred. And if you didn't do your breeding yet, don't worry, just like jump into the channel and Hero or someone can help you try to get it sorted. But yeah, we're really excited about these.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Well,
to the show.
I like it.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Did you breed with someone? Are you gonna have one in airdrop?
I did.
Nice.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
Nice.
I popped in the Discord, did some breeding,
Sick.
but I should get one.
Yeah, so
I haven't
in the
done it yet,
coming
though.
weeks, we'll airdrop all the wallets, little egg NFTs, and that will be like the birth of the baby, and then the egg has to hatch into the chibi. But you could sell your egg if you really wanted to, but I feel like that'd be pretty blasphemous, sell your offspring.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's terrible. Actually, when you put it that way, that's evil as could be.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Too
no,
savage.
I don't plan to. No, but
Sick.
it looks good. I'm pumped about it. I didn't even realize they had dropped. So
Yeah,
I like
drops
it.
not
We'll
yet.
let you be the star of this show.
Yeah, this is
We
just
should
a
have gone with
preview,
that.
There we go. And yeah, I'm in our new Anata bedroom. So we have a bunch of free backgrounds for anyone to download and use on streams and things like that. This is one of them, little cyberpunk kind of messy boys room theme.
Yeah, I'll have
Sick.
to check those out as well.
Yeah, let's run it. Okay, so to the show. I think it's been a while since we chatted. For me, I've been pretty heads down, focused on the temple situation because I had really big bags there, and there was an exploit, and it was kind of like the crux of the whole like RFE book value debate, and I'm really happy where it landed. So happy to run through that, but would like to go through some of your stuff first because I've seen you writing a bunch of really cool threads. I know Metis Ecosystem blew up, and you were kind of all over that. I heard like OpenSea went to Avax, and you were all over that. So would be excited to hear your take there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's half of like really what I probably would like to cover.
Okay,
I mean, like
sick.
I think there's been a lot of exciting stuff I think happening on Metis. I think a lot of it's just the Metis Marathon incentives finally hitting.
Yeah.
I had some good wins for everyone who has followed that. I mean, the AVAX and OpenSea coming has been pretty awesome. There's some other NFT projects that I feel like have gotten highlighted pretty heavily. I'd love to hear a little bit more about Art Gobblers. We can get to
Oh
that at
yes,
some
I
point.
have tons of insight there.
Yeah, so I'd like to hear about that. That was on my list. And then other than that, I think it was just like some macro and like more of some of the angles that I was taking. So I don't know about you, but I've been extremely frustrated with the market. Like
We all
I don't
have.
know
The
where your
chop
head's
sucks.
been. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting so much like market fatigue. Like it is just like I'm like frustrated like day in and day out. I don't know if it's like some of the charts or like I just don't think there's much excitement to be had. Most news is bad news. Like it's been a tough I would say few weeks. So I don't know if you're in a similar spot, but it's been a rough market out there.
Yeah, my take on that is the markets are hard right now, and you're right, all news is bad news because what happens is if something good is going to come out, like if you announce a new feature, a new product, people tend to get excited that it will pump the price, and they think when this comes out, the number will go up. But then the thing comes out and the number doesn't go up, so then they're like, oh fuck, I better sell before everyone else sells. So even just having announcements often gives people like false hope. And although this sucks, it's a very, very healthy thing. Like this is kind of how it felt in the bear market before, where like I almost wrote off all my crypto bags, forgot this shit existed, moved on to building like non-crypto stuff. And I think we're starting to really feel that, where people are like, can I make this my living? Do I have to go back to my old job? I'm just losing money all the time. And that's healthy, right? This needs to happen for us to have another kind of run up or another like bull market. And it's going to be this way for a long time, right? Like bears aren't like bulls in the sense where it's like plus 20% every day, and they're not like minus 30% every day. They're mostly just sideways chop, and it's like exhaustion, and you die of attrition.
Yeah.
You don't die of like number going down consistently. You just die of being bored, of losing your money to like trades that would have made sense in the bull that don't make anymore. So I think if that's you, like the best thing to do is just like sit on your hands, do low risk farming or low risk like RFV type stuff, and then once like some excitement comes back, then that's when you can start bidding, or just DCA. That's what I've been doing. I just buy like a nice handful of ETH every few weeks, and I'm just chilling, right? Because in this sideways period, there's no way I bottom ticket. There's no way I top ticket. I'd like to just get an average around now. I'm really happy if all my buys were in at like 1200s. Like, I ain't complaining. And then if this shit works, we're all gonna be happy. And if this shit doesn't work, then it was gonna go to zero anyway.
That's entirely fair. I mean, so like my take on it is like I think there's just been a lot of painful stuff. Like liquidity's low everywhere, so like kind of as you mentioned, like when there is a pump, everybody sells into it because it's the only volume that they can sell into. I feel like with that there isn't a whole lot of bullish news. I mean, if you're anything like me, for everybody out there, then you spent the last like 2-3 weeks doing almost nothing but taxes. Part of that's from putting it off so long, and the other part was just like waiting and hoping that there was software good enough to do it. So I mean, that's been, I would say, like pretty stressful for a ton of people in the market. But I think that's mainly US based participants. But still, like that deadline actually came really Monday was like the finals for the extension. So I think now that that's over with, I'd like to see some more positive stuff going on. But I mean, just getting through some of that as a process was like a massive struggle. But I mean, for myself, like I'm trying to work on some of the things that maybe I'm not as great at. And like I know that like I could work on just to like polish my skill set. Like probably yesterday and today, I probably spent 5 or 6 hours combined, like just looking at charts, and like doing some different charting practice. I know that's an area where I'm not like some of the best people on CT when it comes to like being able to just break down charts, like predict directions, and I normally target narratives. But like looking at charts, I think it almost made me more depressed. Like there's like, it looks like Bitcoin's breaking down, the USD's absolutely sending, like, but it's one of those points where like everything is just so negative, and like all of the charts to me look the exact same. Of like a lot of stuff needs to pick a direction. Everything looks like it's about to break down. That like everything's so bearish, I'm almost bullish. Like it's like almost impossible, I feel like, for everybody to be right here.
Yeah.
So I think like
Yeah, I saw a
I'm
tweet
kind
that said if you just buy ETH perps, you like long ETH on the perp, you make more than ETH2 validator rewards. Like that's how short people are.
that's insane. I did
Yeah,
not know that.
you can literally just buy. You don't even have to buy staked ETH or stake your ETH. You can just buy ETH on FTX and chill, and you'll earn as much as the ETH validator is earning.
Well, that's kind of my point. Like
Yeah.
that can't happen. Like there's no way that every single person is right. Like, and every chart looks this bad. And like I feel like we're gonna get a shakeout where like Bitcoin breaks down, like and probably ETH and alts as well. And it looks like we're gonna go so much further south. And then I feel like we're gonna bounce. Like every time you look at one of those very zoomed out charts, of like Bitcoin or ETH since really like their initiations. Like you always see where like they finally break the trend, they break below it for maybe like 1 wick, like a week or maybe 3 days, like whatever the time frame might be for that chart, and then like they kind of bounce back above it. And I kind of feel like that's where we are. Like I mean, almost everybody is just beat down here. I think a lot of the charts look awful. Like everybody's short, so I mean, it's just doom and gloom. Like I
Yeah.
also just, when I'm looking at, I think some of the macro stuff going on, it's like elections are here for once again for US based, like elections are here. I feel like just the USD pumping, I feel like it's got to slow down. Like there's so much stuff that's just on the cusp of breaking, like just a bunch of like foreign currencies. Like I think our government's like starting to step in. I don't know. So like I'm starting to be bullish, but I think we have another maybe week or so of pain. But would love your thoughts on that. I know you've just been DCAing, but do you
Yeah,
have any?
DCA and
I
chill.
guess
DCA and chill and aggressively size into stuff that's obviously underpriced.
so.
Like
So how about we talk about that? Like I'd love to know your DCA strategy. Like what do you do on a maybe week or monthly basis to DCA? Do you just
yeah,
have
just
like a
I just
big
do it
chunk that you?
manually. No, I don't like to get fancy, you know. I'm just like, it looks good. Let's buy a small chunk and keep it in the wallet. Then, that's a good red day. Buy a small chunk, keep it in the wallet. I would say I do a buy every 2 weeks.
Is your buy maybe like 1% of your stables, 2%, 5? Like what's your DCA? Like how are you
Um,
averaging in?
so usually I do like 500 ETH, so it's a good chunk, I would say. I uh,
Yeah, that's not a
I
small
don't
chunk.
plan to DCA for a month, like for a year, like I plan to DCA for a few months, you know. And I think like by Jan Feb it should be nicely allocated.
Now, do you do anything with that? Do you stake
No,
it? Are you
then I,
validating?
no,
You
right now I
lending to
have it all
Aave?
chill, but I'll borrow against it and then I'll farm with it, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. You
Yeah.
doing that through Aave? Or like is that what you normally use?
If I borrow against it, yeah, I borrow on like Compound, and then I would stable farm
Okay.
usually just in like Convex or something like that, or I'll buy like RFV stuff and then I'll like fight for it. Um, yeah,
Yeah. That's
but
fair. One of the things that like I actually have as a narrative that I want to say I've started to look into, but like it's more of like on my list of I really want to take a deeper dive is some of those lending and borrowing protocols. So like I think we all saw Mango got exploited on Sol. Like Aave has been
Avi,
like kind of the target.
Mr.
What
Fort
was
Dow,
that?
the Fort Dow guy came and
Oh,
attacked everyone.
I hate that guy so much. Like he's just such a piece of shit. But I mean, yeah, he's just not a good person.
Yeah,
But I mean, I guess most people who exploit hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it is aren't great people. So it's probably without saying. But I think like the way I kind of see the market going with like interest rates going through the roof, it's going to be more expensive to borrow. And it seems to me like a lot of these dexes, like there's dexes are a dime a dozen on all these chains now. I think a lot more of that's going cross chain. So it's like where are the fees going to come from in DeFi? And it's like as rates continue to send, I feel like those lending and borrowing protocols are going to have like higher profit margins.
hmm,
So that's just kind of a theory, I would say, of mine. And I need to take a deeper look into it. And as they start to prioritize security, like I feel like the ones that are very good, like people are going to be paying a premium for them. Like Aave has been extremely strong here. Like I think like I really want to look at QI on Avax.
Chi, yeah,
Again, how'd you say it?
I think it's Chi.
Chi? I didn't know that. I was just called a QI. But like I want to look at some of those protocols, and I think like a compounding narrative there is they pull a ton of liquidity, like a ton of liquidity, and with that being such an issue across DeFi, I feel like there's a good narrative to be had around some of those protocols,
Right,
especially the ones with good security,
right,
and like take risks seriously. So I mean that's one of the areas I've kind of been targeting. But
nice. Why don't we get into the
anything?
juice? Like, tell me. So, Metis Marathon. I know you and Crypto Yield Info have been all over it, right? Um, do you think it's over now? Are you selling? Are you buying more? Are you just holding and staking them? What's your outlook there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for Hermes. Hermes was a big win for Metis Marathon. Like
Okay.
that, like
So Hermes is the
it's kind of
solidly fork, right?
exactly. So it's like Velo for like optimism, and so it hosts a lot of the stable coin or not stables, a lot of the like non-native or native tokens of Metis. So like all the smaller projects like have their liquidity on Hermes, and like the way that they incentivized was through locking and bribing. So they did it's like a 52,000 Metis and about like $28 a pop. Like it's millions of dollars that are going to people who either lock their Hermes or are bribing with VE Hermes on the back end. So like it's not like they're just dumping it into liquidity. Like you're forced to kind of lock and be a part of the protocol long term because you have to lock for 4 years. So it cuts circulating supply a lot. And then like the bribing on the back end, like it helps boost liquidity across the chain. But you can only get it if you're like a long time participant in the
Okay.
protocol.
And is
So
there like an analytics or a Dune or something where we can see like Hermes fees so far?
Hermes fees. Like they have a dashboard on their site. It's not great, if I'm
Okay.
being honest. They put up a locking dashboard, which is pretty good, but they don't have a great Dune or anything like that at the moment. But they did just commission one to get built.
Nice.
I one of the farming protocols. I can't think of what their name is off the top of my head. But they commissioned like 50K build of like a big dashboard like that.
Right.
So it's coming.
Yeah.
But I would say like it got way overvalued in my opinion.
Yeah.
It
These
ran
things are
up
still
from
micro caps. Like this is a 3.5 million
yeah.
cap thing. Like, did anything on
That's
Metis become like a proper, like, this is a $50 million business, or has it all kind of just been like really low cap, low liquidity kind of PvP situations?
well, so like the 3.3 million. Well, I'll say two things on that. Is like that's the circulating market cap. So
Mm-hmm.
there's about 102 million, I think, total tokens if you count locked. So like it's really a lot closer to like a $13 million market cap, but
okay.
circulating is like 3.3. So it's decent size, but it was at like 25 million. Like on the announcement of the Metis Marathon stuff. So like I was taking some profit up there. Like all the RSIs were overcooked on all the charts on every time frame. So it turned into a sell the news event for the time being. But also like that market cap was like 4.5 million yesterday, but like 600,000 Hermes of like the 27 million that are in circulation got locked in the past like 36 hours. So supply shrinking as price is going down, and it's not going to last. Like there's going to be a point here in the next like I would say 2 maybe 3 days. Like I kind of have like the like 8 or 9 cents like levels marked if you guys really want some alpha. And like that's probably where I would start like buying heavily back in because like these locking incentives aren't going to go away.
Yeah.
And like either you're going to lock and you're getting 100% APR on the back end for bribes and you're getting Metis for locking, or like the price has to set. Like one of the two things has to happen, and right now it's just heading towards that crunch. So
Nice.
the retrace won't last is kind of my opinion of it. But
Okay.
I would say like, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that the next, before you finish, because I want to move you to the next subject on Metis, I had a question about.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I think one of the ones that I've seen that people going crazy on is this binary DAO, Byte. You think that situation is going to get solved soon? Like it just seems like such a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this one like really makes me mad if I'm being honest. So
yeah.
So like when I started looking into like Metis a while back, and this was before I think even my first tweet, I was just looking at different projects. Like this one had the biggest TVL, and I was like, all right, like what is this? And I started like looking into it, and it's a mess. So like pretty much they like raised a bunch of funds, then they diluted the crap out of their own token, like locked everybody in so they couldn't take out any of their funds. This one is like this dev, in my opinion, should go to jail for fraud. Like he like straight up lied to investors. Like it was a bad situation. And I didn't realize it at the time until I started doing research. I hopped on and like listened to an AMA that they did.
Yeah.
And they were like straight up saying like, hey, no, we're not going to like stop printing or give you an out for your money. Like then like the treasury value goes down. They're like, yeah, we know, but you don't care about token price. So it isn't an RFV situation. I don't trust the dev at all.
I heard RFV is like almost a 2x from here still, but when I look at the Telegram and the Discord, it's an absolute nightmare. And like what I don't understand is it's gotten to the point where anytime Metis does an AMA, there's like a hound of people that join it and are like, why are you letting this binary DAO thing exist? Because supposedly the Metis team has their docs through like Rug Doc or something like that and can help these people get out of it, but they haven't been doing much about it. And I think it's because like they represent so much of the TVL of Metis. Like they're 8 million TVL of Metis, and that's like more than the market cap of many projects there, right?
Yeah, well, so it's twofold. Like when I listened to the AMA before, like I would say when I was doing my research, like people were ripping into this dev. Yeah. Like Yield Chat, he like helped.
Oh yeah, Yield Chat is a next level bad about this one.
Yeah,
I love
he was losing it. I was so frustrated just listening to this, and this was a recording I was listening to.
I feel bad for him. Yeah.
I started almost like yelling, and I'm listening to a recording. I'm like, this fucking guy. Like I got so mad. Like I was mad for him, so I DM'd him. Like, and he started like asking me about it. Like we had conversations about some other stuff. He's like, do you know anybody who can help out? I reached out to the Metis team. Was like, hey, if you guys really want to like move forward with the marathon, like have good press, like you guys really got to take care of this situation. They're like, we're working on it. But like, I think I gave them some tips on like how I would remedy it. And like most of that came from like, stop printing new tokens, make sure you give people an out, whether it's from RFE or you make sure that they're doing buybacks, like going forward, where it eventually gets back to RFE. Like, so like there has to be a path to like just not diluting the token to zero.
I hope they do it. Like with this, they actually did the right thing. Half of what you said, right? Like they stopped minting new tokens, and what they're doing now is they let you choose where you want your backing to be, and then you can earn yield. So you can actually get like a 10% APR in Hummus while being exposed to the Byte token. But what I saw in the Telegram was that the dev actually even lied about that. And although he's giving these yields out, he's taking 25% of the yields and giving them to himself. But he never advertised that they would like give themselves a piece of the yield and things like that. So there's a lot of small psyops going on. So I'd be a little careful, but I do know they've fixed a little bit of the tokenomics. But hey, that's definitely a shit stain on the ecosystem. I'm hoping it gets fixed. So I was looking for your insight there.
Yeah, 100%. I hope it gets fixed as well. I think the guy is super shady. Like I do believe he had like, straight up committed fraud. If I had to guess, like his plan was like, hey, I'm gonna send this to almost zero. I'm gonna like use what I've earned to buy up all the token, and then and then RFE it. And so it was gonna be like somewhat legal, but like I think Metis started to step in, and the reason being is Metis hit like 80 million market cap or something like that, and like this project, the dev went rogue. He stopped like showing up in the Discord. He wasn't doing any AMAs. He wasn't on Twitter, but he was all in stable coins, and he was farming every Metis project to zero. So he was just dumping all the rewards and stacking USDC, but he wouldn't answer anybody. So like, I mean, he's part of the reason Metis like fell off as far as it did. But I think it'll get fixed, but we'll see.
Sick. Okay.
Only other one on Metis, like it's worth touching on is Hum. Like I think.
Oh yes.
I think. So I think Hum's in a pretty decent spot. I've talked about like just stacking Hum. I've been stacking it. It's kind of nice because you get both Metis rewards and Hum for like LPing. Like depending on like how big your stack of Hum is, you get like a very nice boost on like really your stable stacks. So if you have like say it's like 40K and you put 10,000 in like each pool, like USDC, USDT, DAI, and BUSD, like you get boosts across all of those pools pretty evenly. So there's ways to be very efficient with it and like print a ton of rewards. And like the second part is they just introduced a haircut where like a portion of swap fees go back to like VE Hum holders, which is nice because as volume happens, like especially as volumes pick up, like a lot of that's going to end up coming back to people who are stacking Hum. So I personally like. If
I remember you saying that the big narrative change here for Metis, because I really felt Metis was kind of like a dead ecosystem. I don't know how it's going to revive itself, but your big take was that Aave is going to come to Metis and that's going to bring the hordes. Did that happen? Is it still happening?
I mean, all of this has happened like at a snail's pace compared to what I was expecting. But that's beside the point. Like, I mean, there's still ongoing discussions. If you get in Aave's governance and like search for Metis, like there's discussions that have been like picked back up for like launching V3. I've been keeping an eye on that. And like it's being like looked at by the risk team, which like I think is completely fair. And like I think that's more of a formality if I had to guess. But that's been in the process for a few weeks. And like also like his name's Stanny from Aave. He's on the like board, or he's an advisor of Metis, so like, they have the votes almost positive to get it through. So it's more of a matter of time, I think, before it happens. But I will say, with all the stuff that just came out about like people targeting Aave, like I think there might be a little bit more skepticism there. So I don't think they're going to rush it. But they've also had like newer posts of like, hey, we're starting a framework of like how to, if you want Aave to launch on your chain, here's how you do it. And like they did like the first run through with Metis. So I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. I think that'll send Hum just off of a lot of the swap fees, if I had to guess. And number two is like I kind of made a pitch to some of the Hummus team and really a quick one to Metis of like, And instead of giving all of these extra Metis Marathon rewards just to the LPs, like somebody staking USDC or USDT, DAI, BUSD, like why not give some of those to VE Hum?
Yeah,
Like make people who stick in
that's
the
what the Velo
ecosystem.
guys did on Optimism, and it worked until Gabagool rugged.
Exactly. And I mean, like that's why Hermes is working. It's like all of that's going back to people who are willing to lock.
Yeah.
Like if you want long-term users, that's the way to do it. So
Yeah,
I think they were pretty receptive of that. But I think there's some possible code changes and things like that they would need to work through. So
Nice.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Maybe I would guess 3-4 weeks out, I would assume. But that's also if they listen to me. Like I can pitch and they can be like, yeah, that makes sense. But like I don't know if they're going to do it until the time comes. So yeah.
Cool.
So we'll see. That's it for Metis, though.
Yeah. Let's go next subject. NFTs. Have you been buying any NFTs in the last few weeks?
I have a lot on NFTs. So let's dive into Art Gobblers. I'm excited for this one. I've seen and heard a lot more of Art Gobblers popping up. I had Dada, who's the dev of Forgotten Runes, Wizard Cult. Mm-hmm. Like he tweeted it at me, which is always a good sign because he's like the OG NFT guy in my mind. Like he's one of the best out there. And like more and more people are starting to talk about it. So I feel like this one's going to be a slam dunk success, but I haven't tracked it, and I know that was on your list, so I would love to hear where it stands.
Gobblers I've been excited for because so when I went to New York for NFT NYC or whatever, I met Dave White and the Paradigm guys, and I was just like, really impressed by their caliber. I think when I knew of them, I always thought they were just like giga nerds, but then in real life, they were like a really good balance of like giga nerds, but also like very into the culture, it was really interesting. And when I saw that they were building this and Transmissions from Rari was part of it, I got really excited. And when I buy NFTs, I really like the ones that are actually fully complete. Like a lot of the times when you buy an NFT, you have a lot of hopium, right? You give them money and then you hope that they're going to deliver on the roadmap and then you'll get what was promised. But with like Anata, one thing we did was we pre-funded everything, we pre-built everything. So then we were selling the NFT, people were buying the fully delivered, fully complete project. No one had to hope that we were going to like deliver on some roadmap or something like this. The NFT was done, it was on chain, you could use it, all the utility was there up front. And the same goes for Gobblers. So that's why I'm excited, is because we're not just going to like have this long waiting period. As soon as the mint happens, like the whole shebang is going to kick off, right? You're going to be able to stake your Gobbler to mint your goo, and then use your goo to mint your pages, and then people will be able to draw on pages, and then you can put them in the Gobbler's tummy. And knowing Paradigm, like they did this, they've really been pushing that this is a fully complete project. We're not building any more features, yada yada yada. But the ecosystem that they have surrounded themselves with is very strong, and because of their brand, I really feel like people are going to build on top of Gobblers. So it's not that Paradigm needs to ship more, but because they have so many interested minds, and they have both the like crypto smarts, which is them, and the cultural smarts, which is like the bro that literally made Rick and Morty, and then they have like all the like NFT nerds in the space interested in this thing, will mean that things are going to get built on top of it. And so I'm excited to see this like Gobblers ecosystem. Like, you can see the Nouns ecosystem and what it looks like, and they all infight and have a whole thing, right? And you can see what the Punks ecosystem looks like. And even though Bored Apes bought it, people are still very proud of their Punk. They were just in like fashion shows and things like that. Same with Anata, you can see the ecosystem. We all breed with each other and make funny memes and whatnot and so forth. And now I think there's going to be a full ecosystem here. It's not just going to be like some JPEG. And there's a lot more to it than being a JPEG. So that's what gets me excited. And obviously, like I got on the mint list, so I'm excited to be able to mint one. So just waiting.
That was
going to
be my question. So I'm not. Like that was my response to Dada. Like definitely miss mint list on this one. So is it still possible if like I go simp in the Discord for like a few days? Or
I honestly have no idea, but I do know there's like a recommend channel somewhere. So I'll paste your name in there, and I'll be like, bros, I recommend this guy. We can see how that goes. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of excitement around it, and I think a lot of artists, a lot of creatives, a lot of high trust people are going to have Gobblers. So I hope that kickoff really brings it all together. And because it's done, like no one's going to be waiting around.
Yeah. That's very fair. You can clip this and send it to them. Be like, he was
there we go. Small cap, good ad.
There's my small cap, good ad. Haven't heard that one. I like it. But yeah, no, I'm pumped for that one too. I mean, all the right people are excited for it, and I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like there's 1,000% chance that that one does well.
Yeah,
But
and it's
we'll
been
see.
so long since we've seen something like refreshing and new in the NFT space, especially like to bring the DeFi twist to it. So like forget price, forget what happens. I'm just excited to see some new technology come to space. I'm excited to see like if this token release mechanism works, maybe a bunch of other projects like if the goo thing works, I guarantee you it's going to kick off NFT farming season with goo like mechanisms for other projects, right? So it's like
Yeah,
we're not just getting gobblers, we're getting a new like subsection of games to play in this space. So that's kind of I'm also excited for like the follow-on effects.
yeah. I mean, just as like kind of a narrative too. Like one of the projects I've been keeping an eye on. It's not. I mean, it's not an NFT project, but like I keep watching Looks Rare. Like I feel like
Oh yeah.
I'm starting to get excited about NFTs. Like it's way heavier diluted now than it was last year. Like you had all the insiders just like dumping.
Hmm.
Like I feel like it's pretty close to bottoming. And like I also feel like you have some narratives picking up with like I'm getting once again excited about some NFT projects that are out there. And you also have the end of the year where people are just like buying and selling like just to kind of fix their really I want to say like profit and loss for the
Yeah.
year. Like a lot of people are flipping stuff, like trying to like pick stuff up, get rid of stuff. So like I feel like volumes have to pick up. So like there's probably some good returns to be had if you can time that one well.
Yeah. So
But I've been keeping an eye on it.
yeah, Looks, Sudo, all the kind of like alt marketplaces that people have like a little more cult following. I think the next big one is Blur. Like,
Yeah,
did you get the Blur airdrop?
I did. I
Nice.
mean I thought it's pretty cool. Like I listed a few. Like I started
Yeah.
messing with it just to kind of feel it out. But I like it so far.
Yeah, it's like
It's also
Gem
backed
meets
by
Looks Rare, Like it has a marketplace of its own, but it also has really powerful trading tools built on top. So I think
yeah.
it's a really cool combo. And I
That's
got
backed
some
by
good.
Paradigm
Yeah,
as well.
okay, there you go. And I got some good airdrops. But the big airdrop still hasn't happened, right? Like they're gonna reward people that list and sell and trade on their marketplace. So I think there's still like
Yeah.
a good pre-farm there if you haven't used it yet. Just go like list your stuff, buy some stuff, like use that marketplace actively, and I'm sure like they'll reward you. So and it's already been announced that there's gonna be a Blur token, I think, right? I saw some tweets about
Yeah.
it. So there you go.
I don't know if it was in their white paper or like one of the team members tweeted. It was
Yeah.
like PS Alpha, like sweep at least like three floors.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so like I'm probably gonna go on a few different wallets and like when I am bullish on a project like our Gobblers or something like that, I'll sweep some floors across
Yeah.
different wallets. Because if there's a cap on like sweeping three floors, that's like as
Yeah,
many as you
and
can do before it
it's got
stops
that
mattering, then
Yeah, it's got that gem-like ecosystem, right? So you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm just buying this like mispriced thing because it's on Blur. Like you can go and sweep other marketplaces via the Blur UI. So might as well.
yeah, that's very fair. I'm pretty excited about that, but I think the next airdrops or the actual token airdrops like 3 or 4 months out,
Yeah,
February.
probably a
So
while.
so
Um,
it's being kind to your future wallet.
yeah.
Like
What about other
it's a way to do
NFTs?
it.
Have you been buying JPEGs themselves?
So one that I'm super bullish on is fluffs. I mean, everybody
Fluffs.
hates on fluffs. I
Okay.
get I
Why?
get I get
Isn't
ripped
that
on
Ledger
more
Ponzi?
like yeah. See, like every time I bring up fluffs, like I have my science lab chat, and
They're so
like I'll bring
creepy,
it up,
bro.
and they're like, dude, just like I'm pretty sure they just ignore as soon as they see the word fluff, like they stop reading in that chat, just because
Yeah.
I get so excited about them. But like honestly, I do think this is like one of the best times to buy fluffs. There are a bunch of like
Why?
big
Like what's
names that
coming?
well, so like myself, crypto condoms there, Ledger, as you mentioned,
Oh, Condom likes
like
the fluffs for
DeFi.
that.
Yeah, DeFi Dad, I think accumulated a bunch of fluffs, but so like it's part of an ecosystem. So like I bought fluffs early on, and like it's one of those NFTs that there's always airdrops happening. Like I think if you bought like one fluff for like 2 ETH, it's returned like 18. So
Holy
it's
shit.
like had stupid returns, and like people still kind of rip on the fluffs and like only look at their floor price, but you've probably gotten 8 to 10 mints off of the fluff since, and
Hmm.
like it's all leading towards like their metaverse, which launches in a few weeks. And like when
Uh,
I look at like when I look at like fluffs, like their team is so legit, and they were building this like
has there been
kind
any
of
previews of this
before.
metaverse? Like what's special about it?
So I mean, there has been like they've released like kind of like the land, and it's like the cribs or it's called like Snoop Dogg. I can't think of the full name, but there's like Snoop Dogg cribs where you can actually like go on your phone, like walk around in it with your like with your
What's
fluff
their Twitter
already. So
handle?
like it's just fluffs. They're like fluff at Fluf World.
Fluf World.
But I mean, so I think that's part of it. Like, hey, like this metaverse is coming, but there's a ton of alpha if you dig into it. So their metaverse is called the Futureverse.
Oh
And
yeah,
if you
Condom
go,
won't stop tweeting about this Futureverse thing.
I'm telling you, it's gonna crush. So like there, if you want your alpha, daily dose of alpha for
Yeah,
the
it's
day
Futureverse.
from
Okay.
me, go and read the Futureverse white paper. It's like futureverse.com/white paper. It's
Okay.
decently long. It's 1,000% worth it. So like they're gonna have a token. It was gonna be called Mycelium, but like they've been debating whether or not to like switch the name. It's like I think they're gonna call it Root, and like the network that all this is gonna run on is called Root Network. So like the actual token that's gonna secure the network is going to be Root. Like in the actual white paper, it's called like MyCL, like MYCL.
Okay.
So like what they're going to do is they're going to airdrop a bunch of it to like fluff holders, to land holders, to like people who own the different ecosystems. It walks through what some of those percentages are in the white paper.
Okay.
But like what's cool about it, and also more alpha, is when you stake that token, it secures the network, but the actual token that for gas within Root Network is XRP. So they partnered with Ripple, and the reason
Oh,
Ripple's
what?
been pumping that nobody
This
understands why
oh,
Ripple's
this is
pumping.
it's not bullish. This sounds sketchy.
It's not at all. So like
Okay.
it's Ripple's going to be the gas token. So like you're going to be able to get Root or MySeal, whatever they decide to not like actually name it.
Yeah.
And XRP is going to be the gas token within the network. So like you'll be printing XRP from staking your own tokens. So there's a lot of sweet stuff there. There's also some validators, like they have NFTs called Seekers, and they're
Okay.
like the messaging. Like it's like owning a node. So like
Right.
Seekers are the nodes, like the NFT themselves are the nodes, and you have to buy like 1,000 silo tokens. It's like I don't know the exact number, and you stake it with the NFT, and like that's like how you secure the messaging network on their metaverse. So there are a ton of different angles of how you can make money off the Futureverse coming out, whether
Okay.
it's XRP and people stacking the gas token, whether it's buying fluffs and land to get the airdrops of like MySeal or Root, whether it's buying Seekers and stacking Silo. Like there are like 10 different ways that you can make money off of this Futureverse like airdrop and release that's coming. And like they just keep dropping news like literally every day. Like their
Yeah.
founder tweeted like, "Hey, our biggest issue is we don't know how we can time all these announcements between like here and the end of the year."
Wow.
And they've just been pumping them out for like the last few weeks. So I'm
Okay.
super bullish on them. I've been
Oh,
buying
me
a
too.
bunch of them. I've been buying fluffs, party bears. I have a bunch of seekers. I have some eggs. Like, and like my biggest thing is like this is a team that's been able to print money for me from like they know how to drive demand for a lot of these different assets and work them in. So
Yeah.
like I almost trust them that like, hey, they're gonna find ways to make these valuable and like for them to have use cases where it's gonna make me money long term. So like I super bullish on fluffs. I would say the biggest alpha is to read the Futureverse white paper, but that's why XRP is pumping. You guys just don't know it. I tweeted about it maybe a week or two ago. Like, you guys are going to be surprised in a few weeks when you realize, like, it has nothing, most of it doesn't have anything to do with the lawsuit. It's just there's going to be an entire metaverse that's going to be running on it. And
True.
you also have, like, other big projects are also already part of Futureverse, like Bored Apes are, like, already being worked into the network. Like, you can already use them, I think, in the different cribs and houses and goblins. Like, all of those are being worked into this. So I think it's going to be big.
Cool. Okay, so on that note, one I've been buying is Webaverse. Have you looked at Webaverse recently?
I haven't. I've seen
So
a couple tweets on it, but
yeah, so I I bought some in the MetaDrop auction to support, yada, yada, yada. But recently you've been working with them on Anata, and I've kind of gone deeper there to see like what their metaverse looks like. And I've just been like consistently blown away with the stuff they haven't shipped yet, but their previews. So I would like kind of look through their Twitter, and you can see like it's not really just a game, but it's like a very open standard for a metaverse, and you can see like all the cool things that people have already been creating. Like look at what these doodles people made in Webaverse already, and like the thing isn't even out yet, right? So I started looking into that, and then it's kind of very similar to what you were saying about fluffs, right? It's like if you have a fluff, you got airdropped a bunch of shit. Like you got the clothing, or I don't know, what is it? Like the things, or what is it called? Things. And the land.
Thingies,
Thingies,
seekers,
land. Yeah, all those, right?
land,
And
yeah.
net, those were worth 15 ETH, right? But Webaverse hasn't done any airdrops yet, and they've only ever sold this Genesis Pass thing, and that was at like 0.4 ETH on MetaDrop when ETH was like 2.5K or something like that, right? So these things are already selling for like far less in USD terms and far less in ETH terms than what they originally sold for, and they still haven't done any of the airdrops for them, right? So then I'm like, okay, what are the airdrops that are coming? So I think many people haven't looked at the white paper yet, and like when you look through the white paper, you can see that there's actually a lot more than just one game coming. But they're gonna have this like Silk token, they're gonna have this land NFT, and then they're gonna have various assets. So I think the assets are like the items, they're gonna have land, and they're gonna have a token. Now, I don't know who gets these things, but I feel like this Genesis Pass is the only thing out there, right? So I've been
What's the
trying to
floor?
accumulate as many of these passes as I can. I think I'm at like almost 5% of the supply. But for me, I'm making a pretty bold bet that Webaverse is gonna ship a excellent metaverse, just because of what I've seen them ship for others and from what I've seen them ship for us, right? It's almost like when I saw how nice it was to work for Hologram on our original Anatas, I was like, okay, like this is the future, right? I like did anything I could to try and invest in their seed round or whatever. And I got the very similar feeling here, whereas like when I worked with them on Anata and I saw like their team and the kind of stuff they're shipping and how hard they're working, I really felt like they have opportunity here. And then when I looked at the market cap, I was like, this is like 0.27, and there's something like 20,000 of them. So it's like 20,000 times 0.27 times 1,300. Like it comes in at around like an 8 or 9 million market cap for like the only thing in the entire ecosystem. So I felt like it was probably pretty undervalued. And if they do ship anything like that can compete with the other metaverses, like look at the market caps of like Sand or like the Bored
Yeah.
Ape, like metaverse coming,
Other side,
yeah,
other-
or the entire Fluff's ecosystem combined to have their metaverse, and compare that to Webaverse, and then also compare that to like what Webaverse has actually shipped, the influencers they have on board, like Loomdart, CL, like all the crypto Twitter people, like I think they're all like they never shut up about it, right? So they obviously have seen like a lot more than we've seen and are very confident. And from the what I worked with them on Anata, like I'm pretty confident. But it's cool. Like you can see fully working games right here, like 2D platformer Awasi games, right? It's like very open. It's like almost a new style of game. So 3D, 2D, it's all supported, and I think every ecosystem will be in it, right? Like the what is Ratwell's thing? The Tubby Cats. I think they have a game coming in there. Wasi's have a game coming in there. We just showed the Doodle guys have a game coming in there. It's like if all of these different ecosystems are coming together to build in this one singular metaverse, should it really be trading at like an $8 million cap? Like it feels broken to me. So that's why I've just been accumulating Webaverse plots. And then the other one I've been accumulating is Bong Bears NFTs. But I think that's kind of been priced in at this point. Like the market cap of all of them combined is like 50 or 60 mil plus right now. But it's like, I think it's like an open secret or whatever that the NFTs are going to get some sort of like exposure to the Berachain. So now everyone's just like guessing how much of that chain each NFT collection is going to get. And then you can see like the further down you go in rebases, the cheaper they get. But I haven't seen any concrete
leaked.
math.
Sorry, go ahead.
I
I saw a spreadsheet. So like I
No,
don't
I
know
think
if it
those
was leaked
spreadsheets
or
are are all like speculative. I don't know if they're right.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be true. I mean, I saw the spreadsheet, but I'm not sure. Is what I would say. But they did it based off of like what what they raised at, or like what their latest round was at. I think it was like 250 million or something like that. And then they
Okay.
speculated here's like how much each NFT might get, and that's why prices started shooting up. But I mean, that was a big win for a lot of the people in that ecosystem. So I mean, good for them. And I mean, once again, like the Berachain like is insane. Like their
Yeah, we had them on a
community is
call.
just,
I really liked what they're doing. So
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
hoping they can beat the narrative. Like right now, their narrative is they have a real big community, and that's great, right? But there's also this side narrative that it's like just a lot of like Ponzi projects. So what I want to see them do is launch with a lot of legitimate projects. Like I think Synapse coming there really helps them. Or if they can get like I think CrocSwap building there, that really helps them. They need to kind of shy a little bit
There's some
away
good
from
stuff.
the Ohm fork people and bring some good stuff, and I think that will really round out that FUD or that fear. Yeah.
There's some good stuff that's going there. Like, I mean, so I got added to like an investor syndicate type deal of like some decks of projects that were coming there, and like I haven't pulled the trigger on a lot just because honestly like I've been just consumed with taxes and shit like that lately. But beside the point, like there's some pretty impressive stuff that's going on Berachain. Like the more I see of it, like the more impressed I am. So I know where you're coming from with that, but I think they're gonna impress everybody, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
totally on.
well, we'll see. I mean, launching a chain's not easy. Like that's
It
a
ain't
tall
easy.
task, especially
Yeah.
with their kind of hype. So
Yeah.
like it's gonna be hard to live up to, but I do think they're doing all the right things as of now. So we'll see how it lands.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always kind of I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, we're good. I was gonna say that the competition of launching a chain is really high, but the main thing that makes a chain succeed versus not succeed is a community that wants to be on that chain, right? It's not just VC dollars, but if it's actual users. And one thing Berachain clearly has is like a rampant, obsessed community. And if they can keep cultivating that, I think there is some winning in their future.
Yeah, I love that. Well, so speaking of other chains, Avax, like we talked about Avax last time.
Yeah.
We were on. I think we spent a lot on like Platypus and Joe. Still waiting on Joe's liquidity book. I'm hearing it's by the end of the month. A little bit disappointed in like some of like, what I've
happened
seen
to
from
V2?
it.
Did they launch Joe V2 or Joe Peg or what happened?
Well, that's the liquidity book, so that's what's coming by the end of the month. But like the only thing that's disappointing me is like I haven't seen anything on like the economics of it. Like I don't know about fee capture. I don't know about like are they changing tokenomics, which right now I think are a little bit of a mess. So I was hoping for more from them by now, but like I mean, hopefully that comes here in the next couple of weeks. But I mean, with that, like I think I think it'll be successful, but I want them to be able to create some value for holders too. But
yeah, I'm way
beside the
down on
point-
Joe now, so I'm like
I'm
finger
not-
crossed hoping too.
I mean, like, if anything, well, there you go. You wait for the bullish announcement at the end of the month, and like, if you don't like what you see, then there's your volume that you can sell into. Just like
That's what I was
talking
saying.
about
Remember
earlier.
at the beginning, I was saying it's like even good news is bad
Yeah.
news, because if that volume
Yeah.
doesn't come along, then everyone freaks out even more.
Exactly. So everybody gets people an exit. But so like, I think I've started to spend a little bit more time on Avax though, and like, there's a growing narrative on Avax NFTs. We touched on this last time. Like Small Joe's I brought up. I think we touched on like Small Land, but also like there's been more that's come out like since the last time that I hopped on with you. Of like it sounds to me like I just sent you a quick tweet of like I don't even know how to say it, Kellyo, like NFT marketplace. Like they hinted at this. There was also a YouTube video. I was trying to find it just now, but I couldn't while we were talking. Of like one of the like Trader Joe founders like giving a speech where he brought up like the Avax NFT Rush. And like everybody's been hinting at this, that they're going to do like a second Avax Rush like they did for DeFi last year, but with all these all of these NFT projects. So if you like look, like every project is launching NFTs. Like Trader Joe did, Platypus did. Platypus is like building their own metaverse. Like Steakhouse like launched their own NFTs. Like there's NFT projects popping up left and right. OpenSea just launched. So like all of these, if you actually go on if you go on like JoePegs and look at the collection, like I just sent you the link. like and look at some of the volumes and sales, like everything that's launched is just doing like a 2 to 20x. Like everything's going nuts. So
Interesting.
there's also like a bunch of these I want to say like collectives of like, hey, we're an NFT project, but our goal is to like flip floors and like we'll give some of the profits back and stuff like that. Like there's all of these different projects that are trying to give utility across all these NFTs. So I think like if I had to guess, they're going to do a rush program here in the next like month or so. Like they're going to require like these NFTs to have utility to get the rush, and then they're probably going to bootstrap a bunch of their treasuries or something. So like all of this is speculation by me, but like it's obviously in my eyes, it's obvious that they're doing it because like all of the prices of these NFTs are just going nuts, and they're still stupid cheap. Like you can buy floors from anywhere from like 1 AVAX to I think like some of the top ones. The top one is Small Joe, I think still, and that's like 390 AVAX. But like OpenSea coming brought a lot of eyes to this, and then like all the hints of AVAX Rush, like all of these are kind of sending.
Right.
So
Well, I hope
looks,
JoePegs is the winning NFT ecosystem there for my Joe bag.
well, creeps have done extremely well, which is part of that ecosystem, but like
Nice.
they're kind of split off.
Yeah.
It's been tough for me to track a lot of them. Like I haven't had enough time to like
Too much
invest
going on.
in to like stay on top of each one. But like I would just say more alpha is I would scoop some floors of some AVAX NFTs. Like they're already going up, but like this is still like not I would say 100% confirmed or like when it's happening for the AVAX Rush, but in and with it, if it does, like you will get so much volume from like ETH NFT traders coming to AVAX. So I think this is an easy way to front run because a lot of these collections are tiny, like
Right.
most of them are like less than 1,000 pieces. Some of them like 5,000-6,000, but then like when you talk about prices from like 5 AVAX to 100, those market caps are like stupid small. So it's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. Like if you do your due diligence, like it's going to be hard to miss on some of these, in my opinion. But
Yeah. Nice. I like it.
well, I had one more thing I was going to touch on, but
Yeah.
that's it. When we're talking about doing some of the side chains and stuff, like you almost brought it up earlier when we're like just talking about Berachain there, of like, hey, like what makes a chain successful? Well, like I said, like I've been spending a lot of time on charting. Like one of the other things that I probably invested 5 or 6 hours to yesterday is like I'm trying to find just going down like DeFi Llama, and there's like 70 or 80 chains that are out there. Most of them are like very tiny, like don't have a lot going on. Some of them are like pretty much dead. But like part of like what I'm going to spend a lot of time looking into over the next, I would say, 2 to 3 months, like as the market's just absolutely terrible, is like I'm going to try and devote a few hours to each chain and like go through and like see if there are like narratives or chains that I think are extremely undervalued and try and get a piece of those. Because I think some of the people that like won last cycle, like that I got to know, found ecosystems extremely early, were able to like buy that token very cheap, like then like expand like some of the stake that they had within that chain into like all different types of farming, and like that's how they really blew up a lot of their net worth. So like right now where there's not a lot of liquidity in the market, like I'm spending a lot of time going through each chain because I think a lot of the new ones that are very popular next cycle aren't going to be the same ones from this cycle. So
Yeah.
kind of like Sol, Avax, like how those both blew up. Like I'm kind of looking for those from a value perspective going through some of the chains. So it's like just another one I'm keeping an eye out for. There's some that like are pretty cool. I really want to spend more time on Algorand, HBAR, like some of those, like I think they have stuff going on already, but I'd like to go a little bit further down the list of some smaller ones as well. I don't know if you're targeting any weird chains or networks.
For me, no, haven't targeted like a specific chain or network. I would say like the only chain I'm looking at right now that is Aptos because it's about to launch, right? And we just had the token launch. By the way, for that, anyone who did do the Aptos like testnet shit, like they made off like bandits. I'm pretty sure the airdrop was worth like $3,000 per wallet.
It was
and
like
like
6.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's six
It was a
grand
lot.
per wallet, and it was like thousands of wallets. Like I think net was like a $60 million total airdrop value to just people that did the testnet thing. And I'm sure people like sibbled it, and so like I'm sure people made millions on that. So That was pretty telling for me. So I feel like I need to do the same thing for Sui or for Berachain or like wherever there's this like obvious testnet to get tokens thing. I thought
Arbitrum.
yeah, I thought it'd all be priced in and it wouldn't really be worth it and get a few cents. But that Aptos one was a clear slap in the face. Like it was like $6,000 per wallet that did it, and you didn't have to like pay anything or buy anything or even use the network. You just had to launch something on the testnet, and you could have done that on a bunch of wallets pretty easily. So that was a oops. And so I hope to do the same for Sui when they do it. And for I don't know if Berachain is doing that, but Berachain is doing has the whole testnet thing. I think if you're on the honey list or something like that. So I need to look a little deeper into that too. But yeah, outside of chains, I wanted to also do like I also saw an opportunity with a cross that I tweeted. I don't know. Did you do that? Did you try it?
No, I don't know what you mean by that.
So Across is doing their Bridge Traveler program. Here, I'll bring it up on the screen. But basically, if you used any other bridge, so if you use like Synapse or Hop or something else, what they've done is they've whitelisted your wallet to come try Across. And if you use Across, then you're gonna guaranteed be part of the airdrop, right? Only 7% of the 30,000 wallets that have bridged have come and tried Across to get the free ACX tokens. So if you've bridged before, I would just take a quick look at this thread. Just go to Kevin Chan. He works at Across. He works at UMA and is building Across. And he walks you through exactly how to do it here. But you can basically get the Across airdrop for free just by like using the bridge, even though the airdrop's been announced. A bunch of people's wallets like pre-whitelisted. So I would take a look there if you've used other bridges. And I think
I've used every bridge.
There you go, yeah. And I've pretty much exclusively been using Across, and I've always compared the prices of like Across versus Synapse or Across versus another one, and they tend to win because they have this interesting setup where they have like one shared liquidity pool on ETH and then liquidity pools everywhere else, while all the other bridges have like a specific ETH elsewhere liquidity pool. I don't know if that like makes their exploitability higher, but as a user, it usually means there's more liquidity and pricing is better. So I've mostly just been using Across for my bridging, and then I also was using it because I knew the fees would come back to me as ACX tokens later, and there's gonna be an airdrop, and I was like trying to LP farm it because they said that LPs will get a pre-farm here. So I'm excited for this token to come out and see what it's finally going to be worth because I've definitely been pre-farming this one aggressively. So yeah, that's an opportunity I wanted to bring up too.
That's fair. I like that a lot. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think my taxes were so painful because I bridged to all of these chains that like either like they almost don't exist anymore, or their bridges had like 19 transactions. So like very tough to track. But like this is like perfect. I'll make sure I do this.
Yeah.
I'd like to. I was just gonna say like I'd like to make sure like you kind of brought up like the liquidity cross chain there as well. Like I've seen more and more projects like tossing around the idea of like shared liquidity through like using something like Sushi's like omni-chain like DEX. Like I think more of those LP pools are going to be shared for like at least a lot of the main maybe like 50 pairs across like DeFi at some point. I think we're getting pretty close to that. So like that also makes me want to almost target like non-EVM chains when I'm doing some of that research, just because like if you find something like a good chain that's popping up that's non-EVM, you have a lot better chance of it not being compatible with some of the stuff that's already built out there. So like, I mean, I think that's a blessing and a curse. Like one, you probably won't be able to benefit from like the super deep liquidity and things like that out of the gate. But also that's why there were such big gains on the project like Solana that was non-EVM because it didn't work with a lot of the stuff that was already out there. So
yeah,
as I'm going into the next cycle, it's just more thinking out loud.
Yeah. I've been looking for dead Solana projects as well. So
Find any?
Not yet. Like there's some that I've been trying to accumulate, but they're just so low liquidity, so it's taking me some time. But I would love to share them in due time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't spend a ton of time on Solana. I mean, I don't know why. It's never been really my favorite. It's I don't really love it as a network.
Yeah.
But that's it from like experience. I would say of like being on it for a while. I think I got dumped on a ton of projects there.
Yeah.
But I do follow like another NFT project. I just sent you a quick link. But the Gen Ape Academy, I only have a few of these things, but they're another one that they've just been doing like nonstop
Oh, that's
airdrops.
isn't it
They,
Solana
they,
project too?
yeah, it's not in Solana, but they came out with their own beer, or like they have like the Gen 8 beers, like all kinds of different like smaller projects and branding, but like they've been like super active as of like the past couple months. And like they have like a small school that you go to, like their site's sick. Like I put them up there with probably like top 10 like NFT projects that I follow, like maybe top 5. Like I really like them. So if you guys are looking for like a solo NFT project, like highly recommend them. Like their team's legit. Like they're very good at building. Like I think they have like good lore and stories that go along with it. If you're into that kind of stuff, but also like they just create a ton of value. So highly recommend you follow them.
Cool. We're way over time here. So let me just close off with like a quick RFE segment, and then
Yeah, let's do
we
it.
call it a day. Yeah. So there's just two that I kind of wanted to talk about today. I know in past episodes I've kind of really aggressively covered the temple situation. So I think now that that's mostly wrapped up, I can kind of like share a little bit there. So wait, okay. Are you still here?
I'm still there. Yeah.
Okay. Is the stream still working?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
behind.
stream's
I'm
still
always
working.
on. I'm always
Yeah,
on.
we're good. We're good. My laptop just cut out. I think it disconnected, but we're good. Okay. So yeah, with Temple situation, remember it was trading at 65 cents basically for the last like year entirely. And so I accumulated a lot and have been doing a lot of work to try to ensure like holder value was protected, that the Temple team advertised a backing, that holders would at least get that backing, and so on and so forth. And it's been a big battle, but I think where we landed after the exploit was very healthy. So the team repaid the entire exploit, which was really nice. And then they put up this update basically after the community wrote a proposal saying, please just like let us go forward fairly. So they're giving everyone unlimited liquidity at 0.97 cents. That is lower than what the community asked for and about 10% lower than the actual backing and book value. But I think the way that they're approaching it is very healthy, and it was very refreshing for me to see happen. They didn't just say like, okay, the project is over, take 0.97 and the rest of money is for the stayers / for the team. They said, okay, we understand all of the different parties here. Some people want to leave now, some people want higher, but we can't really make the decision to let people leave with so much of the treasury right now without really talking to everyone. So what we're going to do is we're going to let everyone that wants out now, you can claim 0.97 and move on. But if you stay, we are now going to transition to full and real governance. And then what they're going to do is they're going to have a governance vote, and governance will be able to change this 0.97 to a higher number. So they can change it to the 1.01, or they can change it to the full book value, or whatever governance actually decides. And I thought that was like really reasonable, because now they're saying, okay, we believe in the governance, we're going to do it, we're going to stop just being this team that tells you exactly what's going to happen, and we're going to give people that want liquidity now and that don't want to fight for it, and we're going to let people that want that fight for it and be part of governance and so on. So that was great.
How big's the treasury? Like what's stopping somebody from who has like 25 million from just waiting and then voting for, hey, we want full backing?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things. One is it's not governance in snapshot form, it's unannounced. The governance method is what they call representative governance. So I think it's urn-like, but they haven't really explained the dynamics exactly, right? Like, so we got to wait to see kind of exactly what happens. But if the community does vote in enough people that do want a full unwind, then governance should be able to do that, right? But I personally am like so happy and I'm thankful, and I think I saw a little bit behind the veil because the team gave me a call before on some of their bullish future, and the things that they talked to me about and things they showed me actually got me pretty bullish. So my stance is I claimed a good chunk at this 0.97. The chunk I didn't claim, I'm not going to vote with because I want to see what the community wants, and I think it should really be like whales shouldn't be controlling the votes here. Like the community can vote for what they want, and we'll see what the community themselves want. And I will be supportive and I will keep a moon bag because I'm pretty excited about that bullish future. So I hope they do a good job painting the bullish future to holders so not everyone just leaves at this 0.97 level and really understands it before governance happens and before like all the voting happens and things like that. But I think Temple finally did the right thing here. This tweet here summed it up. Like all the stacks people got repaid. The impatient people got a fair price and get to leave. People that want to stay get governance and real control. The team has millions in runway. There's a bullish incoming narrative, and nobody has to do this like PvP stuff into buybacks with the sends. So I think they really leaned from being far into the like everyone is angry at them to like swinging all the way into, okay, we're going to give you what you want. Let's work together. Let's win. And if you trust us, we can win together and we'll cap our spending. So I've been excited. I've been happy. I think they can really turn this thing around, and I'm going to keep a small moon bag for it. But I would say it's no longer like an RFV play in that sense. So like my excessively sized bags are going to mostly be out. So
Yeah,
that's how I see the temple situation.
That whole situation just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
But
I
it ended
tweeted about it, and I wasn't
amicably.
expecting. Yeah, I probably put way too much light on that. I didn't expect that to the tweet about how much they were making to go around like it did. It absolutely exploded though. But like, I mean, it just makes me mad because all of this is stuff like that they're doing now that we've been. I'm gonna say we, but
Everyone's
I
been fighting
dumped
for
my
it,
bags
yes.
at a loss. Yeah. I mean, the fact that there was just no governance, like you had no claim to the underlying token, they're printing as much as possible, and the token actually had zero purpose. Like you couldn't do anything with it. It was just a farming token that you were promised zero rewards. So
Yeah,
like,
you
I
could
mean,
stake it and get the yields from the underlying treasury, but I think that use case isn't the best use case. It's only useful if the token is mispriced. But finally, like
but
they
they could
understood.
also change that at like
Yeah.
any point too. So
Yeah.
like I think my point was like, hey, like, there's literally zero use case. Well, that I mean that's back from January. So
Yeah.
I think like I just don't know if I fully trust the team to continue to do like
No, I
what's
think,
right
and
after I've seen
that's
some
a
of this
fair
stuff.
take too, and that's why I'm really happy about this unlimited liquidity exit, because people that are like, I'm sick of this, I have no more trust, they can just move on, right? And the people that are like kind of have trust can stay for governance, and the people that really trust them can stay and got what they would have got anyway, or even more book value. So I think everyone got satisfied here. I do think it took way too long. Like it shouldn't have taken us a year to land here, but the community stayed strong, the community kept fighting, and I think it was just a really good win for DeFi in general. Like we proved that as holders we have say. We proved that as holders, like regardless of if there's a DAO with voting or you're gonna force stuff on us, our voices matter, and everyone needs to be listened to. And this is a DAO, and this is us all building together. I think it was a good win for crypto in general. It was also a great win for the team this whole time. They all made a lot of money, and going forward, if they can succeed, they will make a lot more money. And even if they don't succeed, they still have very healthy salaries and very healthy runway. So
What's the size of their treasury at the moment? Do you know off the top of your head?
So it was 97 million before all this, and I think so far like 10 million is left. So it's probably something around like the 85 million mark, which is still pretty good, right? And if every single temple exited at this 0.97 price, there would still be well over $10 million for the team, and that would be literally with no users at all. So I think there's no world where the team doesn't have a healthy treasury and can't build going forward.
So the reason I asked that, and this is like secondary question, is how does that affect Frax? That's a lot of Frax hitting the market. So
Yeah.
like that, what's Frax's market cap?
I was
just trying to
thinking
look.
that. I was thinking that too. But if you actually look at the curve pool,
1.3 billion is all
yeah,
Frax's.
it's
Like,
actually not a lot.
That's well, no, like that's way less than I would have thought for Frax's
Exactly.
market cap.
Yeah.
And
No,
then,
but
like that's
Temple's a lot
almost
less
what,
of
like
it.
5-7% of Frax is in their treasury. So
Yeah.
I don't
But here, Frax BP has like $700 million of liquidity. So you could instantly sell the entire treasury at like 80 million bucks, right? Into this
Yeah.
thing, and you wouldn't even take a 1% slippage. So the
As they take it
Frax
off the
AMO
market,
thing works really, really well.
as they like collapse that supply, like I haven't minted Frax or like redeemed it in that regard in a long time. Like, does it affect like Frax shares?
It's supposed to, but now Frax, I think they set the collateral ratio to 100% or something like that, right? So it's not really a lot of like mint redeem problems. I think you can just, like, you don't get any FXS, you just get USDC if you redeem a Frax, right? So it's not partially backed by
makes sense.
FXS anymore. So I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Something to keep an eye on.
user-owned supply of Frax is though. Like, I wonder how much is AMO minted versus actual user minted. That would be a telling picture.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on with, like, I guess that exit, but it's a little bit under peg right now too, like
Yeah.
0.998. End of the world.
There you go. And yeah, the last RFE, well, there are other smaller RFE projects I think out there, but the last one that's like big and meaty, I think in like Ohm Fork land, is probably Spartacus. So Spartacus has been like a bit of a shit show, but the dev still hasn't done anything like outright malicious in terms of like to holders recently. He's just like really clearly wants to like build or take as long as possible or something like that. But I think people are starting to get pretty frustrated in there. The most recent update there is that they put up a gauge proposal in Curve to farm on Lambda. So they have like a stable of their own called Lambda, and they want a curve gauge for it. So they wrote a proposal here like, oh, give us this curve gauge, and if you give us the gauge, then we'll be able to farm for Spartacus holders. But there was a huge clapback from the community. Like if you read these comments here, you can see like people just did not like this at all. And so I think we're waiting on Curve to say yes, no on if they're going to be allowed to get a gauge. But my hunch is they can't fix this. They can't get a gauge unless they first fix the multi-sig. Like that's the biggest one for me. So I'm hoping that, hey, there's some bad news here that it's going to be hard for them to build stuff just because of how like pissed off the community is. But there's some good news here where maybe if he wants this to happen, Curve will force him to do some of the things he needs to do, like getting a good multi-sig of people in the community that are trusted or people in crypto that are trusted and not just the dev over and over again. I think those would be small wins, right? And then he's exploring moving to Ethereum and this and that, and it's kind of taking long, but yeah, I would say that one's still pretty much a standstill. You can see from the price, it's pretty much a standstill. RFE is still like 2x higher. I think it's like $70 and trades at like 25 right now. So still opportunity, but I think this is probably the highest risk RFE left in the space, and there's a reason it still isn't at backing, right?
Yeah, that one's not my favorite. But
yeah, no,
if it works, it works.
It's no one's favorite. If it works, it works. I would say like I sized small into it, but I'm hoping the dev doesn't fuck everyone. That's all I hope for, right? It's kind of crazy when it's like your only ask is don't screw us.
That's literally it. He's the only one who can make proposals, I think. Though.
Yeah.
That's another one where you just kind of need to come in with like side governance or something. But
they did, yeah. The holders did put up side governance, and a vote passed. Like more votes than voted on any proposal historically. Like something like 50% of the circulating supply voted on it. Like is aggressively for, but the dev just ignored it. So I'm curious to see what happens with that. Like, can you ignore legally? I don't know about legally, but generally, can you ignore governance votes if they happen on a snapshot you didn't put up? Like if your holders put up a snapshot and vote the same way you vote, but you didn't do the writing and one of them did the writing, is it considered a governance vote? I would say yes, but is it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would probably say yes. I don't know. I think some of that needs defined and regulation hot topic lately. But I mean, we'll see how some of that turns out. Sweet. Yeah, and like I had 3 other things listed, but we don't have to go through them. I'm just gonna talk through them in case people want to look. I'm just gonna 3 other small ones that if you guys are looking for something to look into. 2 new launches like Y2K Finance on Arbitrum for stablecoin
that went
risk.
Up? I didn't know.
Yes, I think the IFO starts today, I believe. I haven't started actually doing it myself, but that was launching today, I believe. So look into Y2K. Sentiment on Arbitrum also launches today, and that one's sick.
Let's go.
Like you
Great
guys,
project. Yeah,
that's like the under collateralized borrowing for under collateralized borrowing on Arbitrum is super bullish on that one. Like the team seems like they're very legit. But that was supposed to launch today. It might be today or tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. And then I don't know how to say this one. Is it Evmos? Like it's like the Cosmos like side chain or app chain. Like EVMOS. Like they launched an incentive program for 3 different chains like Osmosis. So Osmo. Like if you look at like the Evmos like intern account. They are incentivizing with millions of dollars for different stable pools and stuff like that, and they just announced it yesterday. So, 3 small narratives.
Like almost nothing.
It was. What got fucked by that bridge? I don't know which bridge it was that went down, but they did a big airdrop, and then immediately their bridge got hacked, and they got screwed. but like they just announced like a like incentive program. It's not big compared to like portion of like market cap or anything like that, but it was up like 35 or not 35. TVL went up like that much, but it was up like 9% or something like that in the past like 12 hours. But it's 2.7 million in incentives. That's of the token, so $4.4 million USD.
Damn.
I'll send you the link, but those are just 3 to keep an eye on if you guys are looking for stuff outside of what we already talked about that I had noted, but didn't have a ton of info on or didn't have time to research. So it's all from my end. Glad we got to get back online.
Wow, that's a long ass episode. A lot packed in there. I think we lost some people at the 1 hour mark because everyone got tired. But hopefully, if you stay to the end, you got a little more juice out of it. But that's all. Thanks, everyone.
So,
I'll end the stream here. Peace.